The quarantine deck of the Zenith Dawn hummed with the sterile buzz of medical equipment, a sound that had become as familiar as breathing to Dr. Ophelia Chen over the past 72 hours. Through the transparent containment barrier, she watched the Valerian colonists succumb one by one to the pathogen that had swept through their settlement like wildfire. Another one's failing, Jasper called from the monitoring station, his voice tight with frustration. The young xenobiologist had barely slept since the outbreak began, his dark eyes rimmed with exhaustion as he studied the cascading data streams. Ophelia moved to his side, her gaze fixed on the vital signs flickering across the holographic display. The Valerian's respiratory system was shutting down, the bioluminescent patterns that normally danced across their translucent skin fading to a dull gray. Time of death, 347 station time, she murmured, marking it in her log. That made 19 lives lost to a microscopic killer they couldn't even classify properly. The door to the medical base slid open, and Ambassador Takelin entered, his forearms hanging limply at his sides. The elderly Valerian's skin had lost its usual vibrant purple hue. Dulled by grief and exhaustion, Dr. Chen, he said, his voice translator rendering his clicks and whistles into flat, emotionless standard. Have you made any progress? Ophelia exchanged a glance with Jasper before answering. We've isolated the viral structure, but it's unlike anything in our databases. It's adaptive, constantly mutating its protein code to evade immune responses. The human medical databases as well? Takelon asked, a flicker of hope in his compound eyes. Every database in known space, Jasper interjected. This thing is completely novel. It's as if it was designed to be incurable. Takelon's arms trembled. Then we are lost. The colony world of Valara Prime will be extinct within a month. No, Ophelia said firmly. We haven't exhausted all options. The ambassador's gaze sharpened. The consortium medical fleet will arrive in 6 days. Surely their advanced 6 days is too long, Ophelia interrupted. At the current infection rate, 90% of your population will be dead by then. She pulled up a 3-dimensional model of the virus, rotating it slowly. But there is something we haven't tried. Jasper's head snapped toward her. Ophelia, no. You can't be serious. What option remains? Takelon pressed. Ophelia took a breath. Human immune systems are ... aggressive. Unnecessarily so, by galactic standards. We're the only species that can survive on Death World-class planets. Because our bodies are constantly at war with everything around us. You want to infect yourself, Jasper said flatly. It wasn't a question. The virus has shown no interest in human physiology in the preliminary tests, Ophelia continued, her scientific mind already racing through the protocols. But if I introduce it directly into my bloodstream, if I give my immune system a live target to fight ... You could die, Jasper shot back, standing abruptly. This thing kills in hours. We have no idea how it would interact with human biology under active infection conditions, which is exactly why we need to find out. Ophelia turned to T. My immune system will either destroy it, adapt to it, or produce antibodies we can synthesize. Any of those outcomes gives us data we don't currently have. The Valerian ambassador was silent for a long moment, his skin rippling with conflicting emotions. This is not how civilized species conduct research. To deliberately endanger oneself is the most human thing there is, Ophelia finished. She moved to the laboratory station and began preparing a sample of the virus, her hands steady despite the magnitude of what she was proposing. We've been doing stupid, dangerous things in the name of science and survival since we first learned to make fire. It's kind of our specialty, Ophelia. Jasper's hand closed over her wrist, stopping her preparation. Let me do it. You're the senior physician here. If something goes wrong, they'll need your expertise to save you. She smiled sadly. Jasper, you have a family on Europa Station. I'm 53, no kids, and I've already lived longer than most of my ancestors. The math is simple. That's not how we make these decisions, no, but it's how I make mine. She gently removed his hand from her wrist. Besides, I'm not planning on dying today. Human stubbornness. Remember, she loaded the viral sample into an injection cartridge, her movements efficient and practiced. Takelon watched in what appeared to be horrified fascination as she sterilized a patch of skin on her forearm. For the record, Jasper said quietly, this is insane, noted. Ophelia positioned the injector. Monitor my vitals closely. At the first sign of cytokine storm or neural degradation, you put me in medically induced coma and start broad-spectrum antivirals. Understood. Understood. Jasper's jaw was set, but he moved to the monitoring station. his fingers already flying across the controls. Ophelia pressed the injector against her skin. Ambassador Thea Carlin, regardless of what happens to me, make sure my research notes are transmitted to the consortium medical fleet. Even negative data is useful data. Dr. Chen, the ambassador, began. She triggered the injection. The viral payload entered her bloodstream with a soft hiss. For a moment nothing happened. Then Ophelia felt a warmth spreading up her arm. Not painful yet, but present, aware. Vitals stable, Jasper reported, his voice clinical despite the tension radiating from his frame. Heart rate elevated, but within normal stress parameters. White blood cell count beginning to climb. Ophelia sat down carefully, already feeling the first whispers of fever. How fast? Fast, your immune system just went into overdrive. Jasper pulled up a cellular view on the main display. Your T-cells are swarming the virus like nothing I've ever seen. It's trying to mutate its protein code, but they're adapting faster. Through the growing haze of fever, Ophelia felt a fierce satisfaction. That's because human immune cells are the galaxy's most aggressive little bastards, she murmured. We evolved fighting off everything from bacteria to parasites to viruses that could liquefy organs. This thing never stood a chance. The next 4 hours were a blur of monitoring, blood samples, and the strange disconnect of being both patient and researcher. Ophelia's fever spiked to dangerous levels twice, but each time her immune system found a new angle of attack. The virus mutated desperately, but it was fighting millions of years of evolutionary warfare compressed into one determined human body. When Ophelia finally opened her eyes, unaware she'd even closed them, Jasper was leaning over her, a cautious smile on his exhausted face. Welcome back, he said. Your immune system just committed genocide. Completely, she croaked. Completely. And the antibodies your body produced. He held up a vial of her blood. They're stable, reproducible, and according to the preliminary tests, effective against all 17 mutation strains we've isolated. Takelon appeared beside Jasper, his skin now pulsing with vibrant patterns of joy and relief. Dr. Chen, you have done the impossible. Your sacrifice wasn't a sacrifice, Ophelia interrupted, pushing herself up despite Jasper's protests. Her muscles ached and her head pounded, but she was alive. It was an experiment, and humans are very good at experimenting on ourselves. She looked at the vial of her blood, then at the containment ward where Valerian colonists still fought for their lives. Now let's synthesize enough of those antibodies to save your people. As Jasper and the medical team rushed to begin production, Ambassador Takalon touched Ophelia's shoulder gently with one of his 4 hands, a gesture of deep respect in Valerian culture. I begin to understand, he said quietly, why the galaxy both fears and admires your species. You do not accept the impossible. Ophelia smiled, still weak but unbowed. We're humans, Ambassador. We looked at a universe trying to kill us and decided to kill it back. A virus? She glanced at the now inert pathogen sample on the lab table. That's just Tuesday.